Yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Pnoid News. And today, that news moniker is going to mean a little more. All right. Um, I'm not a full-fledged journalist, but I'll be honest with you. I've tried very hard to be accurate on what I bring out here to tell you guys. When I'm reporting and when I'm doing journalism, I take it very fucking seriously. It's not something that I take lightly in any way. It's something that I want to stand here and bring out and show the world the truth of, because people don't want the truth coming out about a lot of these things. The old term for this group of people in America, this class of people, are called the fourth estate, right? And in the fourth estate, there were men who had, well, and women too as well. Let's not pretend that females didn't actually have to play a part in this, because women reporters have always done a lot of God bless Barbara Walters for coming down to the Appalachians and having real conversations with people about real life and showing, like, literally going into the world, right, that a lot of people don't see, and bringing that out to a lot of other people who wouldn't have had the opportunity to see it otherwise. And the fourth estate, when the founding fathers set this up, they said, look, we cannot rely upon the power center to be the people who bring the knowledge of what needs to be and the discussion of what needs to be. The people who want the power cannot be the people to stand here and go, this is why I want this power, because they will always make up an excuse for it. And when these individuals do have this power, holding them to account is of the utmost and utter importance when it comes to any state. And in our country, journalists have been targeted and journalists have been killed. Right now, there are journalists in America who are incarcerated for reporting on the crimes of our government and the corruption in our government and the corruption in our institutions and the misuse of the power of the institutions that exist. With that being said, the destruction of the fourth estate has caused the mess that we're in today. It's because of the fact that we can't have full-fledged conversations. We can't stand here and have a strong debate about what we're supposed to do. And yesterday, there was the greatest attack on journalism that has ever existed, that has ever happened in the history of America. And I know, like, Abraham Lincoln shut down papers and there was all types of stuff, but yesterday in Congress, and I'm going to show you this, there was some very, very tragic and awful stuff that happened, and we're going to go over it. So let's check this out.
Mr. Taibbi, I want to follow up a little bit on the ranking member's questions. When was the first time that Mr. Musk approached you about writing the Twitter files?
Again, Congresswoman, that would...
I just need a date, sir.
But I can't give it to you, unfortunately, because this is a question of sourcing, and I don't give them. I'm a journalist. I don't reveal my sources.
It's a question of chronology.
No, that's a question of sourcing.
Because you earlier said that someone had sent you through the internet some message about whether or not you would be interested in some information.
Yes, and I referred to that person as a source.
So you're not going to tell us when Musk first approached you?
Again, Congresswoman, you're asking a journalist to reveal a source.
So then you consider Mr. Musk to be the direct source of all this?
No, now you're trying to get me to say that he is the source. I
Well,
just
it
can't answer
either
your
is or
question.
he isn't. If you're telling me you can't answer because it's your source, well, then that the only logical conclusion is that he is in fact your source.
Well, you're free to conclude that.
Well, sir, I just don't understand. You can't have it both ways, but let's move on because there's
No, he
another
can.
area
He's a
where you can't
journalist.
No,
have
he
it
can't,
both ways.
because either Musk is the source and he can't talk about it, or Musk is not the source. And if Musk is not the source, then he can discuss
No
his
one has yielded. The
conversations with
gentlelady's
source.
out of order. You don't get
And
to
she's
speak
out of
every
order
time.
because
not
he's
recognized. The
interrupted.
gentlelady's not
Mr. Chairman,
recognized.
You're not
I can
recognized,
reclaim my
Mr.
time.
You
He has
can't
not
interrupt
said
him.
that.
I don't.
What he has
talking
said
about
is he's
him-
not going to
Chairman,
reveal his source, and the
I
fact
did
that
not yield
Democrats
my
are
time
pressuring
to
him
the
to do
chairman
so
or
is
the
such a
regulator.
We're not.
violation
We're
of the
asking
First
him
Amendment.
about his
I have my time
conversations
back,
with
please.
Musk.
Gentlelady has not yielded you time. You don't
I
get
have
to
not
just talk
yielded
over
time
her.
to anybody. I want to reclaim my time, and I would ask the chairman to give me back some of the time because of the interruption. Mr. Chairman, I am asking you if you will give me the seconds that I lost.
We will give you that 10 seconds.
Thank you. Now, let's talk about another item that you, when you responded to the ranking member. You said that you had free license to look at everything, but yet you yourself posted on your I guess it's kind of like a web page. I don't quite understand what Substack is, but that.
And this is why it's important to have a proper press, right? And proper journalism. Because that right there should have been ran on every news station throughout the country last night. It should have been leading, right? Congresswoman stands here and screams at journalists over something she doesn't understand. That is the epitome of what's wrong with our entire governmental system. These boomers stuck in power, regulating things they have no idea about. These people are just elected, and it's the bureaucrats who are in, just the FTC, the FCC, the EPA, the FBI, the CIA, the just name an agency with letters, right? And you will find people who are actually running the show, because these Congress people have literally no ability, and they're not educated enough to actually run anything. They're not intelligent enough. They're not well versed enough. They have no idea what is going on. Let's keep going on.
What I can say is that in exchange for the opportunity to cover a unique and explosive story, I had to agree to certain conditions. What were those conditions? She asked you that question, and you said you had none, but you yourself posted that you had conditions.
No, the conditions, as I've explained multiple times.
No, sir, you've not explained. You told her in response to her question that you had no conditions. In fact, you kind of used the word license, that you were free to look at all of them, all 100,000 emails.
The question was posed, was I free to write about?
Sir, did you have any conditions?
The condition was that we published
Sir,
on
did you
Twitter.
have any conditions, yes or no? A simple question.
Yes.
All right, could you tell us what conditions those were?
The conditions were an attribution, sources at Twitter, and that we break any news on Twitter.
But you didn't break it on Twitter. Did you send the file that you released today to Twitter first?
Did I send the?
Sir,
Actually,
I'm
I
asking
did.
you
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
Did you send it to Twitter first?
The Twitter
That was
files
one of the
thread?
conditions? Yes or no, sir?
The Twitter files thread actually did come out first.
But sir, you said earlier.
Did you send the file of the stuff that you released on Twitter to Twitter first? Like these it's soundbitism. Like, this is debate club nerd nonsense, picking apart words and like making yourself sound good without actually like discovering anything, and pretending that you caught the person in their bullshit and making them look unscrupulous. And the real bitch is, this is a journalist. Let's keep going.
That you had to attribute all the sources to Twitter first. What you released today, did you send that to Twitter first?
No. I posted it on Twitter.
First, sir. Or did you give it to the ranking member, to the chairman of the committee or the staff of the committee first?
Well, that's not breaking the story. That's giving, yes, I did give.
So you gave all the information that you did not give to the Democrats, you gave it to the Republicans first, then you put it on Twitter?
Actually, no, the chronology is a little bit confused.
Well, then
It's more or
tell
less
us
the
what the
same time.
chronology was.
I believe the thread came out first
Where?
on Twitter.
On Twitter. So then you afterwards gave it to the Republicans and not the Democrats?
Yes, because I'm submitting it for the record as my statement.
Did you give it to them in advance?
I gave it to them today.
You gave it to them today, but you still have not given anything to the Democrats. Well,
Like, he submitted something that he put out in the open. It was already out in the open, right? It's like, did you give the Republicans that newspaper that you printed your article in? Like, what? Why didn't you give it to us Democrats? Well, why don't you go buy the fucking newspaper? You can go on Twitter and look at a thread. Like, the same as everybody else did. Like, he submitted the stuff that he released on Twitter. Like, what is wrong with these people? Like, they're... let's keep going.
Again, I'll move on, and I wanted to ask Mr. Schellenberger the same question, sir. When did you first visit with or get contacted by Mr. Musk?
I'm not going to reveal my sources, but like I said, I was invited by Barry Weiss.
I'm not asking for sources, sir. I'm just asking for chronology. When did you first make contact with Mr. Musk?
I don't know the exact date.
Was it?
It was December.
2020?
It was December.
December of, well, there's a lot of Decembers in history.
December of
sir.
last year.
Which December?
December of last year, ma'am.
Last year, the 22?
Yes.
All right. Now, in your discussion, in your answer, you also said that you were invited by a friend, Barry Weiss?
My friend Barry Weiss.
So this friend works for Twitter, or what is her?
She's a journalist.
How do they not know who these people are? Like, if the weaponization of the federal government, right? The House Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. You should know, you should have some basic research done about the people that you're that you're having a hearing about. Like, this is why nothing get accomplished, right? Remember how, like, I fucking tell, like, people think that, like, these Democrats and Republicans and, like, all the people in Congress, they think they're evil. They're just dumb. They don't know shit. They're not pretending to be stupid. They're fucking actually stupid. They're not on the internet. They're not paying attention. Literally, they spend the majority of their days on a phone bank begging for fucking money and then sitting in a goddamn office going over retarded-ass legal paperwork. This is what they do. They have no idea, and they have no life outside of this. They might drink, go hang out with their grandkids, and then, like, go pick apples somewhere. This is what these morons do. They're not real people. They're NPCs, living an NPC life. They don't have any idea what's going on. Well, let's keep going, bro. Like, yo.
Sir, I didn't ask you a question. I'm now asking Mr. Schellenberger a question. Please
Yes,
do
ma'am.
not
Barry Weiss is
interrupt.
a journalist.
I'm sorry, sir?
She's a journalist.
She's a journalist, so you work in concert with her?
Yeah.
Do you know when she first was contacted by Mr. Musk?
I don't know.
You don't know. So you're in this as a threesome?
There was many more people involved than that.
There was many more people involved with it. Are you being paid to be here today, either through consulting fees,
No.
campaign contribution to
Absolutely
your next
not.
run?
Gentlelady's
Absolutely
time
You
not.
have
is
an interview
gentlelady's
scheduled after
time
this
is
hearing?
expired.
Absolutely not.
Gentlelady's
Absolutely.
time is
Thank you.
expired.
Thank you.
I don't know what to say other than I recognize the gentleman from North Dakota for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'll yield my 5 minutes
Oh,
to you.
I appreciate the gentleman yielding. I do think it's worth pointing out that, I have co-sponsored, I think some of my colleagues have co-sponsored the SHIELD Act in previous Congresses with Democrats to protect what we see them trying to do today.
And let's stand here and look at another relic of just the institution that I didn't even know this broad still existed. Right? I thought she was out of government and I thought like she was run out on a rail, but like apparently, you know what I mean? She's not. Like watch this nonsense.
A great point. I now recognize the gentlelady from Florida for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Taibbi, I want to ask about journalistic ethics and information sources. The Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics asserts that journalists should avoid political activities that can compromise integrity or credibility. Being a Republican witness today certainly casts a cloud over your objectivity. But a deeper concern that I have relates to the ethics of how journalists receive and present certain information. Journalists should avoid accepting spoon-fed, cherry-picked information if it's likely to be slanted, incomplete, or designed to reach a foregone, easily disputed, or invalid conclusion. Would you agree with that?
I think it depends.
Really? You wouldn't agree that a journalist should avoid spoon-fed, cherry-picked information if it's likely to be slanted, incomplete, or designed to reach a foregone, easily disputed, or invalid conclusion?
Congresswoman, I've done probably a dozen stories involving whistleblowers. Every reported story that I've ever done across 3 decades involves sources who have motives. Every time you do a story, you're making a balancing test between the public interest.
Reclaiming my time. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I ask you this because before you became Elon Musk's hand-picked journalist, and pardon the oxymoron, you stated this on Joe Rogan's podcast about being spoon-fed information, and I quote, "I think that's true of any kind of journalism," and you'll see it behind me here. "I think that's true of any kind of journalism. Once you start getting handed things, then you've lost. They have you at that point, and you gotta get out of that habit. You just can't cross that line." Do you still believe what you told Mr. Rogan? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Good. Now, you crossed that line with the Twitter files.
No.
Elon Musk, it's my time. Please do not interrupt me. Elon Musk spoon-fed you his cherry-picked information, which you must have suspected promotes a slanted viewpoint, or at the very least generates another right-wing.
Elon Musk handed this dude, man, I forgot to hit the thing. Elon Musk literally handed this dude like internal emails of a company, right, between a company and government agencies, showing the government agencies sitting here trying to censor American journalists and people as a whole. Like there was a Twitter file that dropped last night that sat here and said that like literally they had an email between a client and his attorney, and the client was going to trial, right? And this was privileged information between an attorney and a fucking client, and the government fucking like utilized this in the goddamn trial. Like, these are important things for all of us to know. Like, it's not like, oh man, listen, like, you know, like I don't already know this shit, right? It's not like we don't assume this already. But it's important to have these things verified so individuals understand like what our government's doing. Let's keep going.
Conspiracy theory. You violated your own standard, and you appear to have benefited from it. Before the release of the emails in August of last year, you had 661,000 Twitter followers. After the Twitter files, your followers doubled, and now it's 3 times what it was last August. I imagine your Substack readership, which is a subscription, increased significantly because of the work that you did for Elon Musk. Now, I'm not asking you to put a dollar figure on it, but it's quite obvious that you've profited from the Twitter files. You hit the jackpot on that Vegas slot machine to which you referred. That's true, isn't it?
I've also reinvested.
You've made some. No. Is it true that you have profited since you were the recipient of the Twitter files? You've made money. Yes or no?
Yeah, you see them trying to get the Joe Rogan, Matt Taibbi thing in the shot, right? So that they can, like, literally they're trying to stand here and do a fucking gotcha moment, and they're, like, setting up a fucking backdrop. This is literally, like, it's theater. It's literal theater. They have props in the background. It's theater. That's what this is. This is theater. They are selling bullshit to the masses. This is entertainment for the masses. Entertainment for the blue fucking check NPC piece of shit fucking garbage Democrat fucking institutionalists in this country, right? This is the individuals who are standing here going like, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a conservative, I'm a fucking institutionalist. That's these people right here in a fucking nutshell. These are the flag waving, college going fucking management fucking class that they are standing here fucking pushing this towards right now. These are the people who motherfucking like they're trying to set up shots so that they don't have to sit here and have CBS or NBC or fucking CNN have some reason to pick it up. Like, oh, look, Joe Rogan's in the background. It's going to blow up our shit. That's what this is. This is governmental fucking theater.
I think it's probably a wash, honestly.
Nope, you have made money that you did not have before, correct?
But I've also spent money that I didn't have before. I just hired a whole group of people to
Patently
investigate.
obvious answer, reclaiming my time. Attention is a powerful drug. Eyeballs, money, prominence, attention, all of it points to problems with accuracy and credibility. And the larger point, which is social media companies are not biased against conservatives, and if anything, they ignored their own policies by allowing...
Wait, what? Like, I want to say like it was like 2019. There was like a list of like 45 or like 50 like top end conservatives who got like, or top end people who got banned off of Twitter, right? Like high, like more than like 200,000 fucking follower people who got banned off of Twitter, right? And the only two who were even remotely left wing was like Minister Farrakhan, right? And I think it was like a union group, right, who were like promoting union rights for, you know what I mean, like Mexican workers, because you can't have that. You know what I mean? Like legitimately, all the rest of them were all fucking conservatives, right? Supposed conservatives, because, air quotes, because like fucking conservatives don't conserve shit, right? At the end of the day. Let's keep going.
Trump and other MAGA extremists to post incessant lies, endangering public safety and even our democracy. Hypocrisy is the hangover of an addiction to attention. Now, I want to point out another alleged finding from the Twitter files. Mr. Schellenberger, you've referenced several times this $3.4 million that the FBI paid to Twitter in 2020 that was referenced in General Counsel Jim Baker's email. I first want to confirm that nowhere in the email does Baker say that the money was paid to censor information, take down posts, suspend accounts, or do anything relating to content moderation. Is that correct?
It is.
Thank you. But honest reporting would have explained that the $3.4 million was paid to release information, not censor it. One of my colleagues on this panel repeated your distortions and told Americans this reimbursement was used to, quote, censor certain stories. That's a flat-out lie. Mr. Schellenberger, are you aware of Section 2706 under the Stored Communications Act? It says when social media companies comply with subpoenas, warrants, or court orders, it costs them money, so they get reimbursed. The FBI makes these requests and reimbursements to discover evidence and run relevant to a criminal investigation. Let me repeat that. The FBI makes these requests to help catch the bad guys. That helps keep child predators off social media sites. It helps keep violent criminals off our streets. I support the FBI and our law enforcement agencies. It would be nice if our Republican colleagues did the same and not fabricate explanations for payments that are defined for clear purposes in federal law. My time is just about wrapped up.
May I respond?
The truth is that social media companies are unregulated monoliths. They pose danger to individuals. They allow posts that bring harm, and that's the bottom line. That the other side will not tell you. I yield back the...
Yeah, it's like I don't want to support like the social media companies. Like I don't, right? Like I literally don't want to support the social media companies. But on the same hand, you know what I mean? Like I don't want these motherfuckers, you know what I mean, to have the goddamn power. If I'm keeping it 100% honest, right? Like I don't want them making the choice of what it is I do and do not see. I don't want the FBI making the choice as to what it is I do and do not see. I don't want the government telling me what it is I do and do not see. Like, again, like you're giving me a choice between a douche and a turd sandwich, and I'll be honest with you, like I'm not going to eat either. You know what I mean? Like just keeping this 100% honest. I am not going to eat either. I'm Tom Pease of Pnoid News. Man, listen, bro, like Go over and support Matt Taibbi. You know what I mean? Support Schellenberger. Like, yo, keep real journalism alive. Yo, hit my fucking Patreon. Hit, you know what I mean, the Streamlabs. Hit the T Public. Grab you a t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, help motherfuckers out. If you're not interested in just donating, buy some merch. You know what I mean? I'm Tom Peace. I'm the fuck up out of here. I'll talk to y'all later.